Chief, what's up, brother?
What's going on? What's going on?
Chilling, man. Happy to finally get you on the show, man. I do apologize this has taken this long and that we've had some up and downs.
It's all good.
So I've been watching your vlogs and stuff just to get to know a little bit more about you. And yeah, man, I'm really enjoying the actual vlogs, man. What made you put those out and start those?
It was an idea just because you typically see vlogs, you typically see fighters get that type of exposure come fight weekend, and I just wanted to build myself up early. I didn't want to wait till I was like a contender to start getting that type of exposure to get my name out there, and it didn't make sense to me how you know like the companies, the promotional companies, they put these fight vlogs out. They get a million views, and like no credit goes towards the fighter. At the end of the day, people really want to see the fighter. They don't care for the company. So that was my whole like look behind this. Like people want to see me, but I'm 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. They want to see who I am. So I feel as though I had to put it out.
For sure, man. They've been interesting. What part of the city is that gym in, or is it in Newark at all?
Yeah, yeah, nah, it's in the Ironbound section of Newark. I
Oh,
miss two gyms that you typically see up there. Ironbound Boxing Academy, that's like with the black ring, and there's another one. It's in Lyndhurst. But I box out the Ironbound Boxing Academy.
so where'd you come up?
What gym did I come up out of?
Nah, 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 in Newark.
I came like through the Central Ward. I really grew up on like I grew up through the West Side, but like like my mom, she from the Central Ward. My dad, he from like the Ironbound section. But I grew up all over. Like, I played sports all over Central Ward,
What part of the
East
Ironbounds? Your
Ward,
dad from like what? Pennington, High Court, what?
Pennant,
Oh,
Pennant Court.
Pennington. Okay, that's crazy, man. Uh, yeah, I was very impressed, bro. Your debut was a Kermel Moton opponent. I'm like, people need to know that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you know at the time of taking that fight that Kermel had already fought him, or you found out doing the research?
Now, me and my team, we found out once we got the opponent. You look them up on Boxer, see who they fought. You try to get videos of them, and so we definitely knew that he fought him already.
And you made it look easy, bro. That top ranked debut was pretty dope, especially with a named opponent like that. Was it everything that you envisioned, being as though that was your first fight? You know.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a great experience. Something that like you can't you could never. Like, you don't know how it is until you're there. You know what I'm saying? Like all the people there, the bright lights, the cameras. So it's definitely an experience, and I feel like that was the best way for me to come through. Come in as a pro was on a top rank on a big card like that with a whole bunch of people there.
So I've heard that you've already done some high level camps. I mean, first and foremost, we're talking about Richardson Hitchins and what's next. You know him well because I heard you was his lead sparring partner for this fight.
Yeah, yeah, we did mad rounds. For this camp, like, cause we was in boxing in the same gym. You get what I'm saying? So I seen people coming in. I just told them, I'm like, yo, you ever need rounds? I'm here. Like we could work. So he was like, all right, bet. And then after that, we just did rounds after rounds after rounds. Saturdays, whatever day it was. I just told him like, I'm here for you. For me, I'm in camp just like you.
Did you have to go to New York or did he come down to you?
Nah, we was in the same gym in Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we was in the same gym in Jersey.
And you've been in camp with Shakur as well.
Right, right. I was in camp with him for the Toga Khan. It was during the COVID year. I was in camp with him in Vegas for the Toga Khan camp.
How was that? And was that like an eye opener for you? Like, I got to start tweaking some things, or okay, I'm like that.
Yeah, nah, it definitely showed me. It basically gave me the blueprint. You get what I'm saying? I was literally across from his room for like 5 weeks. So um, like just being able to see how he lived as a fighter from sun up to sundown, it taught me a lot. Who he is as a person. It taught me a lot. Um, you know, and so it really just opened my eyes, gave me the blueprint, and from there I just took off.
Um, Take me back to the Olympic story, man, because I hear people say that you should have gone, but you didn't get the position because you quote unquote wasn't Puerto Rican enough. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, so I was representing the Puerto Rico the I was representing Puerto Rico for the Olympics, and so it was during like the last year it was like a weird switch of weight classes. So during that time when like if I'm not mistaken, like 115 or 118 got taken out or whatever the case might have been. So a lot of people had to fight, like a lot of like favorites had to fight favorites, and so that's what happened. And so, after you win, you start going on tournaments, you start doing camps. But I'm in school, so I was going out there for tournaments, but I was still staying out here. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't like living out there. I couldn't go to camps out there. They had training camps. I couldn't do it, but I was making the tournaments. You know what I'm saying? Every tournament I was at, the Continentals, the whole nine, all the tournaments. But they basically do evaluation, and it's like, you know, you gotta be like, they basically told me you gotta be living out here for us to take you at this point. So
Okay, so it was just a thing that you weren't living in the country.
yeah, they wanted me to be more accessible. Which I get, but at the end of the day, I did everything I had to do. You get what I'm saying? It's not like it was things that I wasn't doing. I did everything that I had to do, and this is more so. It just felt like they had somebody that they wanted to take because he was more accessible to them.
Okay. Now, I see that you haven't. Well, before I say that, let me double check this last fight. But I seen one of your fights. If not that first one, was at 28. What division do you think you're gonna win that first world title at?
I feel like I could really win it at 22.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, my last fight was at 28. It was originally at 26. A lot of people don't know, but I was supposed to fight a week before that. So I fought this Friday. I was supposed to fight a whole week before that, which was Saturday. But um, I didn't like they. It just got called off at the last minute, like a couple hours before the weigh-in. And so I just basically like my team and I came to the conclusion that they not gonna hurt me, hurt my health, hurt my future by having me, come down again, to stay where I'm at, stay comfortable, my health more important. So they said, we'll make it at a catch weight if we get a fight, and so that's what they did. But 22, I fight anywhere between 122 to 126. The only thing is, it's harder to find opponents over here that's like 122. So that's that.
For sure. I'm glad I asked because I seen 128 and I'm like, okay, well, is he gonna be a 130 pounder? You also fought a dude that fought at 35 versus Kermel, so I wasn't sure, but being able to get down to 22, that gives you a lot of divisions. 22, 26. So you're talking, what is that? Featherweight, super featherweight, and then 130 lightweight gives you an opportunity to
Mhm.
win a lot of different titles in different divisions. Is that how you looking
Right.
at it, or is just a thing where this is what I weigh, so this is what I prefer fighting at?
Uh, yeah, it's more so the second, like, um, it's not hard for me to make 26. I made 26 without a nutritionist. I made 26 still eating, comfortably. So I know I could definitely make 22, especially coming in, like, one time I came in at 123.8. You get what I'm saying? So It's like I know I can, if I really have a solid camp with the right people around me, that's definitely reachable. But it's just like right now, it's harder to find opponents, so I just give them a range. Like if I could find anybody between 122 to 126, lock it in.
So being from Newark, New Jersey, obviously you got Shakur Stevenson right now leading the charge for the city. Is he inspiration, motivation? Was he that, or did you not really know of Shakur when you was locked in the amateurs?
Coming up in the beginning, for me it wasn't like I am only person I really knew was like Mayweather and Cotto. I
Okay.
saw going to the gym. Yeah, I saw going to the gym as like I saw being a boxer as learning how to fight. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't for like actual fights or Olympics. It was just so like, oh, I'm going to the gym to get my hands sharp. You know what I'm saying? But once I really delved into the sport, um, it was around the same time Shakur was going to the Olympics, and the gyms over here is like all connected. So, you know, it's like it was like, oh, we got somebody from North going to the Olympics. I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing everything. People was praising him. And then when I did my research, I'm like, oh, like he's sharp. So once I saw that, and then they had the big parade, it was like definitely an inspiration. I'm like, dang, like that was fire. Like everybody coming out to see this young kid after he just went out there and went to the Olympics, got the silver medal. So it was definitely motivation to keep going with the sport and just keep following the right track, keep going, keep doing my thing, and just staying level headed.
Nah, man, for sure. Shout out to Shakur, man. He's holding it down for Newark for sure. Um, People, I guess the main question I'm seeing from my audience specifically is why did you decide to remain independent? I know, but for those that continue to ask, why this kid isn't signed to Top Rank or to so and so, can you fill them in?
Yeah, in the beginning of my career, well, I say at the start of my career, my main focus was to get as many fights as possible. I really wanted to get comfortable quickly. So, signing with a promoter is kind of like, especially with a big promoter, it's kind of like, doing the opposite of that because they not gonna really fight you as much as possible. They give you the proper exposure, they give you the spotlight, they give you big opportunities. But I ain't care for that at the moment. You know, I just wanted a lot of fights quick, just so I could get comfortable. Because once the step up come, I just wanted to be set in the ring, have my feet wet already, just ready to go. So that's the main reason why. Now 6-0, 6 knockouts. I haven't even went like past the second round, but I feel like I'm still comfortable in the ring, composed, poised, still alert. So as I get to like 10-0, 12-0, 15-0, then we start looking, for the promoters because those gonna be the bigger fights.
For sure. I'm told by your team that they don't even want to start thinking about promoters until you guys get to 8 rounders. Is that how
Yeah,
you see it yourself?
yeah. So right now I'm fighting 6 rounders. I believe once I get to about the 10-0 mark, 12-0 mark, that's 8 rounds right there. So yeah, that's about right because that's what makes sense. Right now it doesn't make sense to bring in a promoter for a 4 round fight or a 6 round fight.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Um, but that's expensive, that independent round. I mean, I would assume the difference is for a 4 round fight with a promoter, you might be getting some sort of check. Right now, you probably got to
Yeah,
sell tickets to get paid.
right, exactly. Sell tickets, sponsorships, but I'm from Jersey, and all my cars really been around Jersey, so it's been in Newark. I'm from Newark, and I mainly been
No, I
fighting in
seen
Newark.
you fought at the Prudential Center, I think 3 times already. Once was on the Shakur card, once was on the twice on the Milanecki card, or one Milanecki, one non-Milanecki, right?
Nah, Nikki fight, Vito fight next week. I fought on. I fought on Rising Stars promotion. That's like a
Yeah,
cornflake
Thomas
card.
Lamana, my boy.
Yeah, yeah, cornflake. And I fought on another card in the Prudential Center, but that's from a promoter in New York.
Okay.
Primetime promotions.
Yeah, man, that's dope, man. People don't. I mean, it took Shakur a minute to get into that Prudential Center. How was that feeling fighting in your city in one of the biggest venues, man? Because that's certainly one
You
of the
know, it
biggest venues
was
for boxing in North.
yeah, nah, that was major, and you know that right there just really propelled me. I feel like 10 steps ahead because, like how you said, being on a big venue, a lot of people there. You know, their first fight, your first couple fights, so it's like now, like I'm kind of used to it. I'm kind of expecting it. It's not really nothing new. I know how to handle it. Like my first fight, I immediately say like, wow, I know what it means when people say like get caught under the lights, you know, because if it was anybody else, I feel like they would have kind of froze up a little bit, just because it's like a lot of people there. Like I'm used to going all around the world fighting by myself, no family, to coming back home. It's a big card, great production, and all my friends, family there. That was crazy.
How did you decide? I mean, I want to hope you said you and your pops and your team was like, let's do OTX because it's on TV, but I still want to hear it from you, like, because you obviously could have been on this veto card with Top Rank, right? Because Truck and Jahad Tucker fight on it in Newark. Like, I'm sure Brad would have wanted you on that card. How did you decide, let's do OTX, or do you still have time, even though it's probably no time, right?
Yeah, nah, it didn't really have nothing to do with Brad. Like I said, I was supposed to fight. I fought last Friday. I was supposed to fight a week before that. You get what I'm saying? So the OTS card, like I'm just thankful that they allowed me to showcase my talent on their card because they could have easily said, "Nah, it's too late." You know, whatever the case might have been. But it just didn't happen business wise, with that card. Not with Top Rank or anything, but just kind of people handling it behind the scenes. It just didn't happen business wise, and it's all right. At the end of the day, I know my worth, and if people don't really understand, but sometimes dealing with a smaller promoter, you get your worth, and you know like this a fight game. At the end of the day, I'm getting in there taking the punishment. So, my team, they thought like, nah, it wasn't a smart move business wise, so we ain't do it.
For sure. I thought it was for the exposure because, that fight got to television, it's on YouTube, it got broadcast. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you're
but
six. Go ahead.
at the same time, like, I'm not signed to them, so some things aren't promised, and it's a lot of fights on the card, so
Also, it was a swing
yeah.
bout,
No, no, no. I'm not saying it was a swing ball. I'm just saying a lot of things, it wasn't much that was promised. You get what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
Because, it is a lot of fights on that card. So, that's what we assume. But then, come fight night might be something totally different. They got priority, they fighters, they fighting more rounds. So, you never know how it go come fight night.
Well, you did, make a statement. You got another knockout. Were, the guys from OTX impressed? Are they looking to maybe get you back? Because you're right up their alley, young, and that's kind of what they've been looking for. And then they got that great social media following. Their fights are not only on the Zone, but on all social media platforms, streaming, simulcast, which is huge for the fighters because you get
Yeah,
more exposure.
right. Yeah, yeah, nah, man. OTX, they've been interested since the first time they saw me at one of their proving grounds, sparring. They
Okay.
was interested then. Yeah, after the fight, you know, um, they immediately was like, "Yo, man, we can't wait to have you back, man." So I like OTX. They real professional. They like how you said, they production, they social media, everything is up to par. They on time with everything, weigh in, so it's like that's much appreciated for a fighter. So OTX, they was definitely impressed, and You should see us working pretty soon again.
Okay, that's good news. So, how did you remain focused for Robin Ellis? Obviously, he's like a journeyman, but he was on a significant amount of losses. So, how did you not just punch in, for this fight? Like, how did you make sure to go hard, not to slip up? You know what I mean? Look at what happened with Rolly and Ryan, right? No one was expecting that upset.
Yeah, initially, I was scheduled to fight somebody else. A whole week before, I was told I was gonna fight somebody else, and he was supposed to be like a credible opponent. You get what I'm saying? But then like 3 or 4 days before, it kind of fell out. Then they had somebody else that was also a credible opponent, not regular wise, but fighting wise. You know what I'm saying? You got some people that they recognize might not be up to par, but you still gotta
But
watch
they
them
durable,
because
for sure.
yeah, they love dogs. So that's what kept me going. And then they told me, all right, look, he got like it was a whole bunch of stuff. He got approved, but not his medicals or whatever the case might have been.
Hmm.
So I couldn't fight him that week. They was saying, all right, look, we'll let you know we'll fight him by like Sunday. Monday came, Tuesday came. They was like, look, we got somebody else. I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I seen like 30 seconds of the first round that he fought somebody else, and I already started, coming up with a game plan in my head on how to beat him. So that's how it really came about.
You attacked the body specifically with the left hook. Is that what was available to you on fight night, or is that the traditional Puerto Rican left hook?
That is a traditional Puerto Rican left hook, but I just take what the opponent give me. You get what I'm saying? So
For
I saw
sure.
his hand out there for a little too long, and I just ripped the hook, and he fell. But then, as the fight started to progress, I seen he started to curl up a little bit more and more. He started to brace for the shots that was coming straight ahead up top. So the left hook to the body just started to that was the only shot that started to be available. So I started throwing it.
Just doubling back on the sparring, bro. If you fight at 22, what's your walk around? Not being nosy, but I'm just like, how you sparring Hitchins, who's obviously 150 at, or better, 2 weeks before the fight? He's definitely 150 something. So it's like, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, yeah, no, it is. My walk around weight really like right now I'm probably like 135, and I haven't been in the gym yet. I've been resting up. But once I start really working out, staying in camp, I'll naturally drop to like 132, 133. Yeah, it's a lot of weight, but like it's skills versus skills at the end of the day. So that's how I look at it.
Ryan, you want to jump in? I know you don't
Yeah,
be waiting on me, because if
nah,
not,
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
go
I'll
to
let
the
you do
people's
your thing,
questions.
Ness.
Nah, but we can
Shout
always
out to
go one
Keith,
on one,
man.
so you don't got to be this so quiet. But go ahead.
Nah, we good, man. Yeah, you said 8 rounders when you want to sign. That was your first six that you did. How many more sixes you looking to do?
Um, probably about like 4, 5, 6 rounds. We really looking for quality opponents, to get me more rounds. That's the main thing. We not really like having like a cap on it. Like, all right, after 6 fights or after this amount of fights, we gonna go to 8. We really looking for like quality opponents to push me. So it's like, of course, you got 4 round type of opponents, then you got 6 round opponents, then you got 8 round opponents. As you go up the chart, they typically should be more competitive. So that's really the goal. Just looking at the competition level, seeing what the 6 round opponents can bring out of me, things in that nature.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And do you think that's gonna be hard to get those guys? Because they gonna be asking for some money and risking they record. So you guys think that's tough to do, or you just believe in your team? They're gonna get it done.
Nah, I got a great team. We've been able to do it so far. Yeah, it's gonna be hard, but at the same time, we make adjustments. We bring, the people that we need to bring on to at least get the fights. You know what I'm saying? So And at the end of the day, business is business. If you're a fighter and you trying to max yourself out on a 6 round fight, 8 round fight, that's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah, you're right, man. But we got some divas out here sometimes, these guys think they should
yeah,
be paid this. They don't understand the game. But yeah, man, that's all my questions, man. Salute to you, brother.
I
appreciate
got a
it.
few from the people, Keith. So if you still got time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get these to you. The first one is from Malcolm in New York City. He says, "What's the ideal glove size for you to use to hit the bag and mitts? I've seen you training in the Pro Reyes fight gloves and in traditional training gloves before, and I'm curious on your thoughts. Huge fan. Been asking when you're gonna get on the show. Puerto Rican flag emoji.
Yeah, I usually train if we going fight gloves. I usually train in like the 8 ounce rivals. Usually the gloves that I fight in, or like if I'm going bigger gloves, it'll be in like my winnings, like 16 ounce winnings. Just because they typically known for comfortability, saving the hands, stuff like that. So either the 8 ounce rivals or 16 ounce winning.
Rod in LA, he says, have you received any interest from major promotional companies to sign you? What promotional company do you envision yourself signing with?
Yeah, we talked like I said, OTX. We talked to Top Rank. We was in talks with the Zone. I'm sorry, with Matron. Um, but who I'm interested in signing with, it really depends because, well, I say this: I'm interested in signing with whoever has uh the best interest for me. Whoever don't look at me as like a dollar, as what I could bring to them, but just more so who's like, all right, we have a kid here and we could build him up to be a superstar. How can we do it? So so not necessarily like, all right, can you sell tickets? Can you do this? Can you do that? Like people know I could do that. This is more so the interest in the fight. I feel like that's more important, and sometimes that's not talked about enough. So
I mean, I guess the hesitance is your team hesitant because Top Rank hasn't announced the new television network? Because when the outside looking in, I'm like, Puerto Ricans need to be with Top Rank or Miguel Cotto, who isn't doing enough. Like, I wouldn't
yeah,
recommend you to sign to Cotto because all you're gonna do is get that love because you signed to Cotto, but he don't really got a network deal where his fighters is fighting all the time. Top Rank, on the other hand, they got a history of developing Puerto Rican fighters. But right now, we don't know if they got a network. But they've done good with Xander, and they did great with Berlanga.
yeah, you're right. So like we know about that. In like July, August, September. That the things with the network was coming to an end. So when we was in talks with them, all of that plays a part. You get what I'm saying? It plays a part because if they gonna sign me to 3 years with they typically sign a typical contract will be a 3 year contract with like if they well the other stipulations adding up to 5 years. So it doesn't make sense to really just jump into a dark tunnel at that point. So we kind of pulled back and just we just trying to see how things play out. At the end of the day, you know, it's still early in my career. Everything that my team has done up to this point, that's what promoters typically try to offer. So it's like, why sign when we're already doing it? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, we just looking, see how things play out, and then like I said earlier, once we get to like 8 rounders, the 10 and those, the 12 and those, then we'll commit with a promoter.
Did you feel comfortable in doing this plan just because of your family and team, or did you pull inspiration from other people that are going the independent route? Obviously, Saddam Ali, he's closer to you. He went the independent route. He was selling out the Aviator in New York, 2,000 tickets. Then Golden Boy came knocking. Devin, He went the independent route and ended up dealing with a lot of different networks the way that you already, you already fought with the zone and you already fought with Top Rank. So um, does the confidence to remain independent and you choose the independent route come from your team or from, yeah, the team is a part of that, but you've seen people do it and get to the top?
Yeah, no, I definitely stem from our team. Because like I said, coming out like especially coming out the amateurs, we had people that was willing, to manage me, to do right by me. But my dad, he was just like, it's no point, if I could do it, then we don't really need nobody else to do it,
What's
so
your dad do? Because
he
it
he
costs
he, he
money to
do
move a
everything.
fighter.
Yeah, so he do everything that a manager would do, a matchmaker would do. He find my opponents. He be up to like, you know, I don't even know how, what, 4 o'clock finding fighters, trying to match fights, in contacts with all different types of matchmakers, promoters. Um, yeah, so he the one that really be making it happen, behind the scenes, making the fights, connecting me, getting me the fights, so yeah.
I got Bang Bang Boogie, no question, all love. He says, salute, keep grinding, King. Flex emoji, 100 emoji. Another one is
Was
from
that
Benny Hinn. He says, who was the toughest amateur you shared the ring with, and what did they do well?
the toughest amateur, uh it was like one of the nationals when I was about, what, 17, 16. I think his name, I know for a fact his first name Adrian from Arizona. And that fight right there was like, he was just like bringing it to me. And at first, we playing the box, and after like the first 30 seconds, I'm like, yeah, nah, there's no way to box him. So that was the all out, middle of the ring type of fight. I had to adjust, came out with the victory, but that I feel like that was one of those fights where, it forced me to fight the full 3 minutes for 3 rounds.
For sure. I got Juice. He says, yo, this Juice from Broward County, Florida. What will it take to get you to bring your talents to South Beach for a few fights?
Uh, a nice card, man. It all gotta make sense business wise at the end of the day. We not, you know, I had opportunities to fight out there one time. It kind of fell through, but like how you said, moving independently it costs money. We're not gonna go out there, fly a whole team out there, hotels for the fighters, the whole nine, and it's not making sense business wise when we could fight up here. You know, maybe I need to be signed with a promoter for that to happen, or maybe the right opportunity need to come again. So but definitely looking to fight in Florida and other spots.
Has ProBox ever reached out to your dad or yourself?
Yeah, I fought on Pro Box. I fought on Pro Box.
Was was that the Lamont Roach card though? I
Yeah.
mean, one of the Roaches, right?
Well,
I thought I seen Jordan
yeah,
Roach
but
on that card.
I fought on that card, but it was through Pro Box. It wasn't through.
Oh,
Uh,
through
yeah,
No
it was.
Excuse. Or no, is it No
Yeah,
Excuse? I think it's theirs
yeah,
promotion.
it wasn't through no excuse. It was, I got on that card because of Pro Box.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they just gave you a one off?
Uh,
Look
so
at your
kind of similar
smile.
to
You
this.
funny.
Yeah, kind of similar to like the past situation that I just had. I was supposed to fight in Philly on Pro Box. Pro Box had a card in Philly.
Mm.
That fell through. So God willing, I mean, thank God that Pro Box also had a card the following week that I was able to jump back onto. So, that's how that happened. That's how that came about.
Salute the Pro Box, man.
Yeah.
I got Quest and VA. What's up, champ? Blind rank these young prospects in boxing you see winning a title soon. So it's 5 young prospects. You got to put them in the order you think they'll win the title
All
first,
right.
right? So first, and he don't want me to tell you the names, is one at a time. Kermel
It's cool. It's
Moton,
cool. Uh, two,
Richard Torres,
three. That's the heavyweight, right?
yeah,
Three,
Abdullah Mason,
one.
Moses Atama.
I'm not sure who that is.
That's the heavyweight from the UK. He about to fight Dillian White, but yeah, if you don't know him, you don't know him. He only 20 though.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure who that is.
Keith Cologne,
Four.
for sure. I got Treese in Toledo, Ohio that says, if you could get a celebrity boxing match, who would you fight?
Celebrity boxing match. Uh, Probably Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Why Kevin Hart? That's funny.
Cause I feel like that'd make some crazy money. Like Kevin Hart, Kevin Hart got like that'd be like a crazy build up. Yeah, that'd be legendary.
Word.
What about
Did you ever
Casanat?
consider? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh
What
yeah,
about
him too.
Casanat,
Yeah,
yo?
him too. Yeah, now that'd be crazy.
Did you ever consider the WBC Grand Prix tournament? Was that something? Well, actually, no. You two,
Nah,
they don't have your weight class, right?
nah. I think they do. 'Cause I fight featherweight. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
think they probably do.
26. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
So
Um, I'm not going. I saw that somebody sent it to me. But I'm not gonna lie, part of me thought that was fake or something. Like I don't know. I just thought it was fake. Um,
Came from some
and I
random
don't.
person.
It nah, it came from a ring announcer. He sent it to me, but I'm like, is this real? Cause I never heard Turkey Al-Shiki dealing with like anything with like up and coming fighters.
yeah, now this the first
But
of its kind, and it's with the
yeah,
WBC.
yeah, but also it was just like. I'm not too big on jumping into things the first time. I remember the Team Combat League came around the first year. They was trying to get me in there. I'm like, and now this the first time. Like, nah, I gotta see how that play out first.
For sure.
Cause like we didn't know too much about it either. So that's another thing.
Ruin the 504 New Orleans. He says, any word on the next top rank card they might put you on?
Nah, there's no word as of yet.
Well, Keith, man, those are all the questions. I do appreciate you jumping on, man, and we definitely want to make this a more regular thing. Like I said, I apologize it has taken this long, but we definitely locked in with your career. We're gonna be supporting and, like I said, following you, man. We appreciate you.
Nah, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
If you can't give out your social media for anybody that isn't following you, can do so.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at official Keith Cologne and on YouTube at Keith Tsunami Cologne.
All right, champ. Well, thank you for coming on. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.